What if the only thing standing between you and financial freedom is a conversation you're too afraid to have with yourself? Most of us work 40, 50, even 60 hours a week, yet somehow we're always one paycheck away from disaster. We swipe cards hoping they'll work, avoid opening bills, and watch money disappear without understanding where it went. But here's the truth: mastering money isn't about making more. It's about finally taking control of what you already have. Today's conversation with Patrina Dixon from It's My Money will challenge everything you thought you knew about budgeting, saving, and building real wealth. Are you ready to stop living paycheck to paycheck and start making your money work for you?
All right. Hey, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Impactors Out Loud. And today I have with me Patrina Dixon. And Patrina is going to be here to talk to us about how money works, right? She has a whole program about it. I have known Patrina for what? 8, 9 years now,
Yes.
a long
Yes.
time, right? When I used to live in Connecticut,
Yeah.
I've worked with her. We were friends when I lived in Connecticut. So I'm telling you, she knows what she's talking about. And this is going to be a very informative conversation. So take out your notepads and your pen or your tablet, whatever you take notes on, because I know she's going to drop a lot of gems today that you're going to want to remember. And then she's going to have a special offer for you guys at the end of the podcast. So get ready for that as well. All right, Patrina, welcome to Impactors Out Loud.
Well, thank you, Tracy. I'm so excited to be here. And you're right, it's been many, many years. We both at the time lived in Connecticut. I'm now
Yeah.
in Florida. Where are you now?
Florida.
We'll talk about that offline. So
Okay.
I'm so excited to be here and to be able to impart on your community. So I'm excited.
Awesome. So, Patrina, tell us your cost tale. How did you get to where you are today, where you are trying to enlighten the entire community about how to utilize money effectively?
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you for that question. So, my story started with me being addicted, and I was addicted to immediate gratification. Like I needed to have the best thing when it came out, the newest thing, the newest phone, the newest sneaker. And then when I learned to appreciate delayed gratification, I learned to get my money right, learned that it was changing my mindset so that I could have the capacity to manage my money differently mentally and then tactically. I got my money into it, got myself into a different place by making sure my money was right. So I was the one who had the, shoulder that if my employer didn't deposit their direct deposit every 2 weeks, that everything would blow up. So I took steps to get my money right. And when I learned how to do it, now many years ago, I wanted to teach everybody how to do it because I knew if I could do it, others could too. So I started in high schools, I was in colleges, worked with women all over to help them better understand money mastery by small skills. And I call them the fundamentals, right? So instead of putting the roof on, like wanting to invest right away, wanting to lay that foundation with budgeting, learning how to manage what you have coming in and what you have going out, how to use credit responsibly, not just to save, but where to save, how to make money from skills that you already have, and then do the other things. So that's how I got started with having my own stuff messed up. And it wasn't that I wasn't making good money. It was that I was not doing right by my money. So that's how my brand, which is It's My Money, was born. It's about owning it, wanting to, and passionate about where your money is going, what's happening with it, how it's working for you. So my trademark brand, It's My Money, and that's where I do my teaching from. I have a curriculum on, books on, etc.
So, what was the turning point for you? We all have this one aha moment that goes, oh my goodness, my relationship with money is very toxic. I know I've had my own turning points many a times because my relationship with money has been toxic, was toxic for a very long time. So, what was your turning point?
Yeah, it's just realizing that I was doing the same thing over and over, expecting different results. And we all know what that means, right?
Mhm.
Go to work, work 80 hours because I got paid every 2 weeks, 40 hours in each week, and then got a paycheck and then blew it as soon as I got it. And when I say blew it, what I mean by that is I was spending it before I even knew if they actually put the money in, the employer put the money in my account, stopping at, Starbucks, stopping to get breakfast, going down to the calf before I even started working, and doing the things without going to look at what I got to the exact penny and then planning out. And let me make sure that I say this to your audience. It doesn't mean you still can't do the things, but the way that I was doing it, and I was doing it blind. It wasn't like I knew that I had enough. I was just hoping when I gave my card, at that time it wasn't tapped, but when I gave my card or slid my card, that it didn't say I need another form of tender. So it was just seeing things around me, seeing people around me that either worked with me, made less than I made. And I'm like, hey, how come I am just barely making it? And I could do things differently. And I am a forever student. I just was not a student of money at the time. And I always say, like, love my mom. My mom, gave me the world, did the best she could, but she couldn't teach me what she didn't know. So I just became an average student of, I just want to do things differently. Like, there's got to be a better way and how I'm handling things right now. So it was just that aha moment with, I got to do something different.
Different. Yeah. I think that's how mine came too. Cause I was like, how am I working? I'm getting paid every 2 weeks and I'm always broke.
And then you have to pout. Like, I had mail that would come in of bills that I would not even open.
I would not touch. There was just, there was a part where they would just pile up, and because I didn't want to know what was in it. So it was kind of like avoidance, right?
Yes, it was all of that, right? And then that actually begins to add to the stress of seeing it. It's there. You don't want to look at it because, to your point, you're avoiding it, but you do know that you owe something over there. And then every time another envelope comes, even though we avoid it and may go out and add to the envelope by buying more, those are still there. So it became like, I just have to do something different. And when that happened for me, and I began to learn more about how I can do money differently, it transformed my life. And I wanted to teach everybody how to do it.
So what was the first step that you took to, when you realized, okay, hey, I need to do something different because what I'm doing is not working? Having to check your bank account before you go to the store while you're standing in the line to make sure you have enough to cover the groceries, and that's not it. Or swiping one card and that card goes, no, we don't have any money on us. And then having to pull out another card and swipe again. And you're like, this is so embarrassing because I work. Yes. I make good money. I get paid every 2 weeks, but there's something not right here, right? Exactly. What was the first step that you took?
So the first step is I had to acknowledge that I had a problem. And the problem, again, wasn't like you said, I went to work. So it wasn't like I was sitting back, not earning money to try to make things happen. It was like, realize that I had the problem. And the problem was I didn't know what I was doing. So I had to seek out help to help me. No different than when my car breaks down, I got to bring that to get fixed, right? My hair is jacked up and I always tell my hairdresser I need surgery on it. I go to the salon. So I had to go to or follow, watch, listen to money experts to help me get my money right? Because at the time, obviously I wasn't the It's My Money lady that I am today. So it was acknowledging that, I need to do something different. It was, okay, let me go and research to see who can offer the assistance that I need to get to a different place with my money, and begin to literally become a student of the individuals that I did follow at that time, and started actually implementing the things that they would share into my day-to-day life. Now, as I say that, you all, I said, you know what, screw this. I'm grown. I can do whatever I want. So there were failed attempts, but I kept at it. I wanted something different, even though I threw up my hands. I threw down the budget envelope. I did all of those things, but I got back on. I picked it back up and I kept doing it. So know that you may have those times where you're like, this is not working for me. But then you remember, I started this journey because I knew I needed to do something different. There are people that know more about me, more about money than I do, and I want my money to be different. So maybe I do need to listen again. And then I would just tune in again and then restart. And then eventually eventually,
It stuck.
it kept on. Yeah,
Yeah.
it stayed. And then and then real quick, Tracy, I'll say, then I found my own way because it was like learning those
Mhm.
things from them, and they helped. But then it was
Mhm.
like, now I got to create my way of the way I do things, so that because I became very interested and wanted to teach people. So then I
Mhm.
had to create the ways that would be a little bit more relatable to those that I would get in front of for the opportunity to help them, transform their lives as well.
Yeah. One of the things that stuck with me that you said was uh, stopping at Starbucks, going to the cafeteria before work, all of those things. And that's where my aha moment came from, is sitting down and reconciling my bank account. And that's an activity that I do consistently now. Anytime I don't, we have problems.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you do.
Anytime I miss a month or a couple of months, because I'm like, I got this.
Yeah,
And like you said, it's a consistent learning process, a consistent active process that you need to take part in when you just know that you don't have a good relationship with money, in the sense that, you make it and you like to spend it.
yeah.
Right?
Yes.
So,
Yes. And
but
people think that, the things that we're talking about, the tasks that you're even talking about, budgeting and then
mhm,
reconciling your account, those are not restrictive actions. Actually,
mhm,
they're empowering actions,
right.
because now when you spend, you feel better about what you're doing because you know you actually have
Mhm,
whatever it is that you intend to spend, because you've gone through your account and you know what you're able to do. So it's more of an empowering exercise than a
mhm,
restrictive exercise. So I tell people, if you don't like the word budgeting, you don't like the word reconciliation, then
mhm,
term it something else to ensure that you do it.
yeah,
So as long as you're doing the task, I call it the money meeting, the cash flow plan,
mhm,
whatever it is that you want to call it, just that you don't skip the exercise,
mhm.
because you'll pay for it in the long run.
Right. For me, like I would say my aha moment was sitting down and reconciling my budget one day, because I was just like, where is the money going? There is a leak in the system, and I need to figure out where the leak is and plug it, because it is ridiculous that I'm making the type of money that I'm making every month. And this is when things were cheap, right? And you're making the type of money that I'm making every month, but I can't see the money to put in the savings. And so I sat down, reconciled my account, and I realized I was spending probably one third of my money on eating out. So
Ah,
instead of cooking and taking my food to work, I would leave work at lunchtime and go buy food,
yeah.
right? And
Yep.
then, or I would pick up breakfast in the morning. So similar to what you were saying. And
Yes.
those little activities, they add up so much. You're talking about spending, sometimes if you do breakfast and lunch, and then maybe you're tired after work and then you get dinner for you and the kids, you're talking about spending probably $100 a day. Okay, those
Exactly.
it adds up quickly, right?
Exactly.
And I said, "Oh, this is what's happening. This is where my money's going." That's why I like reconciling my accounts, is because I get to see where I'm spending my money and where I need to plug the leak, right?
Exactly right. Exactly right. And that's the thing. Again, like say let's just use eating out, because I get questions about, so does that mean I can't eat out?
Oh
I'm not suggesting that at all.
no.
It's
Mhm,
about knowing your ceiling for eating out for a given period of time, a week if you get paid weekly, 2 weeks if you get paid every 2 weeks, whatever that is. Say you go to work every day, during that course of that week, because you go in the office, you may eat breakfast, lunch, or dinner, during that time. It's
mhm,
like, through your budgeting exercise, define how much you plan for that particular week of eating out. And then don't go beyond that. So you decide,
mhm,
is it just going to be breakfast and dinner? Is it going to be breakfast and lunch and not dinner? So it's like you're spending and not going backwards to say, okay, what didn't I do so I don't do it next time? It's, I can do it because I planned for the amount of money that I'm going to do. Another thing that so again, these are tips and you have to execute them in your life where it makes sense for you.
mhm,
So say somebody that is not disciplined and they're gonna just at a whimsical do those things that we talked about, like going
mhm,
out to eat. So one of the things that you can do is use one device, whatever that is, a card, a tap thing that you have connected to a card for the eating out. Now you only have that defined amount that was in your budget. Say that $100 that you mentioned, say that that's the amount that is in this side or in this way in this device, and you use that. Once that's gone, that's gone. And then until you get paid again, do you replenish it to begin eating out again? So don't think of it as a restrictive. Again, think of it as I am now taking control and ownership of how much I'm going to spend in that said category. And that holds true to whatever I call them your vices are. Like for me, it's the gourmet coffee. Like I literally love coffee shops. I literally today, I'm like, I'm going to run out and grab a cup of coffee. Do I have coffee here? Absolutely.
Absolutely.
I know in the course of the week, I am going to go at least 3 times to get me a coffee. So I am going to ensure that not just enough for the coffee, but if there's a Danish there, like the strawberry Danish that I got today, that I have enough buffer in that category for what I like to do. And the other thing I'll say too is a lot of people keep the budget here. Every day, every hour, every few minutes, something is going in and out of here. So if your budget is here, how much you plan to spend, what your bills are, something is going to be forgotten because that brain of yours, that amazing brain, is taking in information on a constant basis. So I encourage you to get it out of your head and onto a piece of paper. It could or online, whichever your preference is, but put it somewhere where you can look and see. Write it down, make it plain, look and see. To the exact amount, don't round up and round down, and ensure that you are accounting for all of the things that you plan to do.
Yeah. That reminds me of what you're saying is kind of the practice that I do. I went to the bank one day to do something, and the teller looks at my account and he goes, "What? I have never seen someone with so many bank accounts," right? Because I had like 10 bank accounts. So then I told him why I have so many bank accounts. And he was like, "That is the smartest thing I've ever heard. Oh my gosh. A lot of people need to practice that." I said, "Yeah, I don't know where I learned it from. I think my mom." And then talking to you, it was reinforced. I was like, "Oh yeah, my mom did tell me that." So what I do is I have a bank account for everything, just kind of like what you're saying. So to keep myself on track. Credit cards get paid out of one bank account. So they can go on auto pay. So all of my money comes into one central bank account. And then from that one central bank account, it goes to the other bank accounts, which are all bank accounts to pay bills. So my car note is in one bank account, and that's the only thing that's coming out of that account is the car note.
Exactly. You have to do what works for you. Like that's everybody, whatever strategy you put in place, as long as you have one that is working and that is that is empowering you to feel better about your money, that's what you need to do. 10, maybe a little bit, maybe more than some can manage. But if that's what you need to do to ensure you're paying things on time, you have savings automated, hopefully as well, then do what you have to do. Like that. That's
and that's what I tell people. Do what you need to do. For me, that just works better for me because I like things, especially major things, to only have their own account. So that when the money goes in there, the only thing that should be coming out of that account is that. I don't want to have a subscription coming out of that account. And then so subscriptions have their own accounts. That's kind of what I do. And like I said, I teach people how to make money. So I need to learn how to manage the money I make now, right?
Absolutely.
And from that, I have also been able to teach the people that I work with, nonprofit organizations mostly, how to budget correctly, like how to put a budget together. So budgeting is so important, whether it's in business or in your personal life. You have to know it's your money. You need to know.
You gotta talk about it. It's my money. Exactly right. And that's what the whole brand is about. It's owning it, professing it, wanting to do right by it. Because when you feel the way that you and again, don't confuse this with the love of money, right? We already know what the Bible says about that. I'm not talking about that, but I'm talking about making sure that you are mastering managing the money that you have, right? And that does not mean just holding on to it. That means understanding what's coming in, what's going out, how to make that money work for you, earning money passively. It means all of the things. It doesn't just mean keeping what you got in, because you don't only want to make money. You want the money that you have to work for you as well. So, Absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's one of the things I tell people all the time is like just what you said. You have to make the money work for you.
That's right.
Making the money is one thing, but the money needs to be able to multiply because if
Right.
you're spending it but nothing is coming in consistently, it's
That's
going
right.
to go away at some point in time. So yeah, I completely agree.
Mhm.
Um what's some other advice that you have for the audience when it comes to business? Because we talked a lot about personal, but
Mhm.
it's your money still, even if you're a business owner,
Exactly
right?
right. I
And you
just
need
want
to
to,
be able to
yeah,
manage that as well.
absolutely. And so the first tip is, if you to master your personal finances, because that is a skill set in my opinion,
Hmm.
and if you master that skill set, that's what you would bring into handling of your money within your business, right?
Hmm.
So and the first thing that I'll say relative to business is, do not mix your personal and business finances. Make
Right.
sure that you have accounts set up for your business. Even if you're the funder of your business, you can
Hmm.
do that by taking your money out of your personal account, putting it into your business account as your owner's investment into the account, and label it as such. And then, make your transactions for your business account through your business account. So that's the first thing that I will say. Make sure
Hmm.
you got your personal stuff right, get that, understand that, do that well, and then bring that skill set into the business. Make sure you have business accounts set up accordingly to handle your business transactions,
Hmm.
even if you are the investor into your business by way of taking money out of your account and putting it into your business. The other thing that I will say is ensuring that you have more than one business account as well. So one that is for the major, what I'll call operations, same like you just mentioned for your personal. You got one main account where everything goes into, and then it gets farmed out to others. Same with business. Make sure that you have some saved away for your taxes, some saved away for hopefully you getting paid. So, but have that defined in different accounts, and make sure the bulk of it is in the operating account where you're paying your bills and your staff and all that
Hmm.
sort of stuff. So establishing more than one account and accounts and naming them accordingly.
Naming them. Hmm.
Right. So the operating one should be a checking account. The
Yeah.
other two should be savings accounts. Now I
Hmm.
know the profit first method saying have four accounts. I think three, for especially somebody starting out,
Hmm.
is sufficient. But if you want to have more than three, you can. But I think when somebody's starting out and just want to understand how to separate it for this
Hmm.
purpose, the operating one is going to have money coming in and going out of that one quickly. The other two, savings and where they can yield high interest, that's where you want to have those accounts, because that
Hmm.
money in those accounts will be sitting for a while.
Yeah, yeah, I agree. Because that's basically what I teach people to do too. Is for your business, you need more than one account. You definitely need one for your taxes,
Yes.
and nothing else. You need to put some money aside to pay those taxes when tax time
Absolutely.
comes around. Have your at least a merchant account. I call it a merchant account, and have your operating as well. That
Yes.
you're paying everything else out of. Um, so uh, let's see. What else do I want to ask you about money and business? You talked about investments. What is at what stage in the process, once you're trying to get a handle on your money, right? So you have gone through the It's Your Money program, you're setting up all of your different accounts, your different systems. At what point in time do you start telling people, okay, now it's time for you to invest some of that money? It's time for you to put some money aside for maybe an IRA, into some type of retirement account, even if you have one on your job? At what phase do you think that people are ready for that conversation?
Yeah, so I'll start with the last thing you said first.
Mhm.
If they work for an employer and have an opportunity in a 401k and that money is matched, that's a no-brainer. You have to do
Mhm.
that. Now, I don't suggest to them, because I'm not an advisor.
Mhm.
I don't suggest a percentage that they should do, just that they
Right.
should have some in there. That
Mhm.
percentage level is based on whatever they're advised to do or they
Mhm.
comfortable in doing, right? So that's number one. Make sure you know where that money is being invested on your behalf. So that 401k dollars, the company money in your match, most companies give you the opportunity to select where you want it, or they auto select for you. You may be comfortable with those, and that's fine as well. So you have to understand your risk tolerance
Mhm.
in that, or those particular that dollar amount, whoever's holding that money for that employer, you can determine, and they'll let you know depending on your
Right.
risk level which would be the right ones for you.
Mm-hmm.
Secondly, you can begin investing
Mm-hmm.
even before you're out of debt. Now,
Okay.
some, maybe there's a difference of opinion in that in some way. And this is
Mm-hmm.
how I want you to think about it. If you begin looking at your money because you're trying to master your money, you're looking at it closely now, and you're learning that you, like you said, you doing that, going out to eat, you doing that, those other things. And what you begin to do when you look at it closely is reallocate dollars. So maybe you're putting a little bit more towards savings. Maybe you're also paying down some debt. You can also begin to invest in buying individual stocks is one. You can buy REITs, it's another, and you can do that from online brokers. There's a ton of them out there. You can choose the one that works best for you. And it's simple. You connect your account to the brokerage account once it's authenticated, and they will ask you to authenticate with your personal information.
Right.
Once that's done, you transfer money into that brokerage account, and you
Mm-hmm.
begin making purchases, and that is in whatever type of investment options that you want to have. Now,
Mm-hmm.
if you don't know what you're doing, just like I said about getting your money right, seek assistance. Don't try to guess it. Don't try to Google your way through it. It is possible to do, and at small dollar amounts. So you don't have to wait till you're completely out of debt in order to be able to begin investing, because that's another way to have money working for you. The other thing that I suggest is for people to add a line in their budget for investing. So as you begin, if you're not budgeting, you begin budgeting. As you begin to look at your money regularly, you begin to see where those sinking dollars are happening, and
Mm-hmm.
that's the funds that you'll end up using to reallocate to something like investing. Again, I always say start small,
Mm-hmm.
and know that investing is for the long haul, unless you're like day trading or something. So you want to know what type of what you're getting in when you're doing that. So know that there's ebb and flows, know that's for the long haul, and then just be mindful of that. So that money is, I don't want to say gone, but away, and not available to you to now, go buy groceries tomorrow like that. You just understand that that's part of the strategy. So it's normally when people begin, so the a long way to say, to answer your question, when people begin to master their money,
Right.
which are the fundamentals like budgeting, knowing where to save, using credit responsibly, maybe monetizing their skill sets.
Mm-hmm.
They got that going, right? And I say that really takes 90 days. When you really have your mindset right, you can get there, and then you
Mm-hmm.
begin to dabble in investing at a small level, and then make that greater and greater, and then it should just become part of a budget. You've allocated a dollar amount to invest every time you got paid.
Yeah, I agree. That's a good tip,
Yeah,
because based on everything that you just said, that's why you said earlier that you need to take it from here and actually write it down. And
exactly.
your book has a workbook in the back,
It
right?
does. So my
Yeah.
book, thank you for bringing that up. So it's my
I'm
money.
trying to remember it. I have it
Yeah,
somewhere, but I'm
uh,
trying to remember. Yeah.
a guided journal to help you manage your it. So it's called "It's My Money," a guided
Mhm.
journal to help you manage your finances. Volume 2 is the most current one,
Mhm.
and it's just that, a guided journal. So after every chapter, there's some like
Mhm.
action items and line pages for journaling, so that you can actually write things that you feel you should do after reading a certain chapter. It has
Mhm.
inspirational quotes throughout, and it has a glossary in the back, because sometimes those are folks that are reading it may not
Mhm.
understand some of the important terms, money terms that are in the book. So the glossary in the back helps that to deeper
Mhm.
the comprehension of what they're reading as they're going through each of the chapters. So yeah, I love that folks really it is just taken on. It gets ordered a lot, and ordered in bulk a lot, from like organizations or nonprofits or schools to make
Mhm.
it a part of an initiative that they may have going on.
And you have live workshops and online workshops as well, correct?
I do. So, I all the things that I've talked about, and I drop them regularly, like budgeting, saving, credit,
Mhm.
entrepreneurship, home ownership. I do in-person workshops and virtual workshops on all of those topics, and I go deeper and not just share why you should do it, but how, and
Oh,
share specific strategies on how to do that, as well
mhm,
as sharing more of my story about how each of those things, when I begin to master it, how it
mhm.
transformed my life and how it can do for you as well. In each of those workshops have activities aligned to them. So again, that helps to sustain the message that's being taught. And then sometimes folks also get to walk away with a book as well. And the curriculum is actually a written curriculum that also is licensed. So if folks didn't want or need me and or my team to come into virtually or in person, you can actually license the It's My Money financial curriculum. I train the trainers, and then you can go out and do it yourself as well.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yes.
That's so necessary. And I keep telling people that if you have something that's working, you're only one person. Get
Yes.
into licensing. So that's
Yes.
great that you can meet a wider audience because you can't be every place.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Although I love doing the work, I
Yeah,
love the energy of a room, but I also love going on vacation. So that way it's
right.
my and the curriculum can still be their workshops can be facilitated even when I'm not
Right.
around. So yes, I'm glad to be able to finally offer that. I've been asked
Mhm,
that for years. So I was
mhm.
actually make that happen this year. So I'm
Oh,
excited
okay.
about it.
Okay. So it's something new. All
It's
right.
new. It's something
O-
new. Yes.
Okay. So, what makes you an impactor?
Oh, because what I do transform lives in a positive way. People go from stress, um, living paycheck to paycheck, afraid to have money conversations in the home with the family, with the husband, with the wife,
Mhm,
to scheduling time to talk about it, to being open talking about it, to asking questions about it, and begin building wealth, because now they are in control of their money. They now are growing it faster because they have it in high yield savings. They
mhm,
automate it and forget about it. They now are their credit scores are increasing, so that makes them, when they do purchase things like homes and cars, they're getting it at better rates because they're not what I want to call a candidate that they're unsure if they're going to pay their bill because their credit score is dictating that that's not their situation. So that's
mhm.
why I'm saying I'm an impactor, because I impact lives by helping people to master something they use every day in their life. So that's what I would say the biggest one is.
Yeah, I like that.
Mm.
What are the three impactor tips that you would like to leave with the audience around money and getting right with their money? Because it is their money.
Yes,
So,
it is. It's their money, right? So
yeah.
the number one thing that I'll say with whatever you didn't do before listening to this episode, it's okay. And if you start along the path and you fall off, it's okay. Get up and keep on going. I fell off when I started, and sometimes still fall off, but you have to just keep on going. Know that the
Mhm,
only thing between you getting there is you. So it's possible. You just have to know that it is, and once you do, you could put some steps in place. The second thing that I would say, especially if you work for an employer, automate your savings to a high yield savings account. You may have it connected to your local bank because that's where you bank, your grandma bank, your mother, your sister banked at that local bank. But if
mhm,
it's not yielding you a percent that starts with 3 or 4,
mhm,
like online only high yield savings account, I implore you to consider moving it to one of those accounts. So there are a lot of online only savings accounts. Make sure it's FDIC insured and move your money there. Cash App is not a bank. So please do not have your money sitting there. So that's the other tip. So high yield online only savings accounts is
mhm.
what I encourage. And if you don't or are not comfortable with that or don't want that, the next thing would be a credit union if you have eligibility to be a part of a credit union. And then lastly, I will say this: take an action. Take an action. We've said, both Tracy and I have said a lot here today. So if you walk away You can listen to us, put us on repeat, but if you don't do anything, nothing will change. I was that person who said, I'm doing the same thing over and over, but I want things to be different. I want to build wealth. I want to have a legacy. I couldn't do that unless I started to do things different. So sometimes the difference between you and the person that listen to the session along with you is they executed on something that they learned here today. So I would say execute on something, and the something that I would encourage you to do outside of the savings is budgeting, is sit down with your money as often as you get money in. So it could be weekly, every 2 weeks, once a month, whatever that is, and literally write down what you plan to do with it. And then the other thing I'll add, go back and write what you actually did. Don't have it here. Literally write it on a piece of paper. You can go to the dollar store, get it for maybe it's $1.75 now. I hear that it's going up, but $1.25 right now. You can go to the Dollar Tree, get a plain white paper, notebook with lines in it, and just start right there. And then keep it, because you want to go back to Tracy's point to look, okay, let me see what I did. And then that will help you to begin discontinuing stuff that's not in your favor for helping you to do your money right.
Yeah, I like those 3 tips. Those are really good tips, especially the last part where you talked about making sure that you not just don't write it down at the beginning when you first get the money, but going back and make sure that your actions coincided with what you
That's right.
originally think. So it's like setting goals and then making sure that you achieve the goals that you wanted. So
Right.
Patrina,
Because
tell
life
us.
happens. Oh, I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
exactly. Yes, no, life does happen, and
Mhm.
sometimes we overspend. 'Cause you already don't have a good relationship with money, so things are going to
Yes,
happen. Okay, even when you think you have it down packed, things are going to happen, and you're going
absolutely.
to backslide.
Yes,
Something tragic happens in your life, or something exciting happens in your life, and you're just like, oh well, I got money, and you're going to slip.
that's
It's
right.
like you started off saying it's an addiction.
Yes,
So addicts they fall back into bad habits sometimes,
yes,
right?
yes.
So tell us how we can find you and what you have to offer the audience that they can utilize if they need to get right with their money.
Sure, absolutely. So, It's My Money Academy is an online platform that has a budgeting tool embedded in it, as well as a debt payoff tracker. And it has tons of videos that I've done myself and content on many different topics about the various ones that I mentioned here today. It has calculators for retirement, for purchasing a mortgage or getting a mortgage, and various things like that.
Mhm.
So, it's mymoneyacademy.com. And because you're a listener of Tracy's, you can use the code I capital S QUAD and the number 25. So that's IMM Squad 25. The I is capitalized and the S is capitalized, and you can get into the academy at no cost for listening to this episode and deciding that you want to do something different to help you along your money journey. So again, it's mymoneyacademy.com. You have a budget tracker in there that's digital, app, mobile friendly app like, and you have a debt payoff tracker so that you can put your various debt in there, see and choose a method that you want to use to pay off avalanche or snowball, put the amounts you owe, and then you can begin to see that go down as well, depending on if you're paying on it or not. So that's what I would encourage you to consider for an online tool that can help you. But again, I told you you can also grab a notebook if that's your preference to go that way.
Okay, awesome. Patrina, thank you so much for joining us here at Impactors Out Loud today. Remember, audience, her book is called It's My Money, because that's what it is. It's your money.
Hey,
So it's easy to remember. It's
yes,
my money. I suggest you go grab the book, sign up for her course, follow her on social media so you can get all of the help you need, especially in the atmosphere that we're in
oh,
currently. You
yeah.
need to make sure that you are protecting as much of the money you have now as much as possible. Until
Exactly. And
next,
yes,
oh, sorry, go ahead.
add too, Tracy, because you said you have small business owners and nonprofits.
Yes.
If you are not accessing grants or applying
Mhm,
for grants for your small business or your nonprofit, I also have a community called Grants for Small Business Owners,
mhm,
grantsforsmallbusinessowners.com, the whole word, one word, grant, or all together, grants
mhm.
for small businesses grants4smallbusinessowners.com. And you are, I'm so sorry, grants4smallbusinessowners.com. And we produce and curate a list once a month that we send out that have new grant opportunities. And again, all you need to do is apply. And, I always encourage people to apply for one at least once a week, and apply for all dollar size. So, those that are $250, those that are $5,000, those that are $10,000, but don't just only apply for the large dollar amounts.
Right.
So I'll leave you with this quote before we go, Tracy. The only situation that can place a limitation on your elevation to your money destination is procrastination. So just do it.
Yeah, that's a good one. All right. Until next time, everybody. Thank you for joining us today. Bye-bye.